I have been on a journey for truth, considering scriptures, my ancestors, our descendants, our history, traditions, memorials, and the origins of mankind's beliefs and celebrations. Listeners, if you have time, listen to these biblical verses concerning the resurrection. There is no mention of celebrating Yahushua HaMashiach, the Mashiach Messiah's death and resurrection. A celebration today is known as Easter, the non-biblical, not supported by scriptures, pagan-created, ways of the other nations, that Yahuwah instructed our ancestors and we descendants thereof not to follow in their ways. Easter is almost amongst us. It's believed and taught that Easter celebrates the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. Searching scriptures, I have not seen one verse commanding our people to celebrate Jesus' death and resurrection, not even one. Resurrection is mentioned in many verses. Here are those verses: "Wheresoever you find the dead, take them and bury them, and I will give you the first place in my resurrection." Ezra Revai, 4 Ezra, 2:23 Sefer. So when he was ready to die he said thus, "It is good, being put to death by men, to look for hope from Elohim to be raised up again by him. As for you, you shall have no resurrection to life." Maccabeim Sheni, 2 Maccabees, 7:14 Sefer. And when he had made a gathering throughout the company to the sum of 2,000 drachmas of silver, he sent it to Yerushalayim to offer a sin offering, doing therein very well and honestly, in that he was mindful of the resurrection. Maccabeim Sheni, 2 Maccabees, 12:43 Sefer. The same day came to him the Zadokiim, which say that there is no resurrection, and asked him, Mattathiyahu, Matthew, 22:23 Sefer. Therefore in the resurrection whose woman shall she be of the seven? For they all had her. Mattathiyahu, Matthew, 22:28 Sefer. For in the resurrection they neither marry, nor are given in marriage, but are as the angels of El in heaven. But as touching the resurrection of the dead, have ye not read that which was spoken unto you by Elohim, saying, Mattathiyahu, Matthew, 22:30-31 Sefer. And came out of the graves after his resurrection, and went into the holy city, and appeared unto many. Mattathiyahu, Matthew, 27:53 Sefer. Therefore in the resurrection whose woman of them is she? For 7 had her as his woman. Luke, Luke, 20:33 Sefer. Then came to him certain of the Zadokiim, which denied that there is any resurrection, and they asked him, Luke, Luke, 20:27 Sefer. And you shall be blessed, for they cannot recompense you, for you shall be recompensed at the resurrection of the just. Luke, Luke, 14:14 Sefer. In the resurrection therefore, when they shall rise, whose woman shall she be of them? For the 7 had her as his woman. Marcus, Mark, 12:23 Sefer. Then come unto him the Zadokiim, which say there is no resurrection, and they asked him, saying, Marcus, Mark, 12:18 Sefer. Then certain philosophers of the Epicureans, and of the Stoics, encountered him. And some said, What will this babbler say? Others some, he seems to be a setter forth of strange Elohim, because he preached unto them Yahushua, and the resurrection. Masim, Acts, 17:18 Sefer. And with great power gave the apostles witness of the resurrection of Adonai Yahushua, and great grace was upon them all. Masim, Acts, 4:33 Sefer. Being grieved that they taught the people, and preached through Yahushua the resurrection from the dead. Masim, Acts, 4:2 Sefer. But they which shall be accounted worthy to obtain that world, and the resurrection from the dead, neither marry, nor are given in marriage, neither can they die any more, for they are equal unto the angels, and are the children of Elohim, being the children of the resurrection. Luke, Luke, 20:35-36 Sefer. He seeing this before spoke of the resurrection of Mashiach, that his soul was not left in Sheol, neither his flesh did see corruption. Masim, Acts, 2:31 Sefer. Except it be for this one voice, that I cried standing among them, touching the resurrection of the dead I am called in question by you this day. Masim, Acts, 24:21 Sefer. And have hope toward Elohim, which they themselves also allow, that there shall be a resurrection of the dead, both of the just and unjust. Masim, Acts, 24:15 Sefer. For the Zadokiim say that there is no resurrection, neither angel, nor Ruach, but the Parashim confess both. Masim, ACTS, 23-8 Sefer. And when they heard of the resurrection of the dead, some mocked, and others said, We will hear you again of this matter. MAASIM, ACTS, 1732 Sefer. Then certain philosophers of the Epicureans, and of the Stoics, encountered him. And some said, What will this babbler say? Others some, He seems to be a setter forth of strange Elohim, because he preached unto them Yahushua, and the resurrection. MAASIM, ACTS, 1718 Sefer, who concerning the truth have erred, saying that the resurrection is past already, and overthrow the faith of some. Timotheus Shani, 2 Timothy, 2:18 Sefer. For if we have been planted together in the likeness of his death, we shall be also in the likeness of his resurrection. Romaim, Romans, 6-5 Sefer. And declared to be the Son of Elohim with power, according to the Ruach HaKodesh, by the resurrection from the dead. Romaim, Romans, 1-4 Sefer. Blessed be the Elohim and Father of our Adonai Yahushua HaMashiach, which according to his abundant mercy has begotten us anew unto a lively hope by the resurrection of Yahushua HaMashiach from the dead. Kepha Rishon, 1 Peter, 1-3 Sefer. The like figure whereunto even baptism does also now save us, not the putting away of the filth of the flesh, but the answer of a good conscience toward Elohim, by the resurrection of Yahushua HaMashiach. Kepha Rishon, 1 Peter, 3:21 Sefer, that I may know him, and the power of his resurrection, and the fellowship of his sufferings, being made conformable unto his death. Philippians, 3:10 Sefer. So also is the resurrection of the dead. It is sown in corruption, it is raised in incorruption. Korintim Rishon, 1 Corinthians, 15:42 Sefer. For since by man came death, by man came also the resurrection of the dead. Korintim Rishon, 1 Corinthians, 15:21 Sefer. Who concerning the truth have erred, saying that the resurrection is past already, and overthrow the faith of some. Timotheus Shani, 2 Timothy, 2:18 Sefer. Now if Mashiach be preached that he rose from the dead, how say some among you that there is no resurrection of the dead? Korintim Rishon, 1 Corinthians, 15:12 Sefer. Yahushua said unto her, I am the resurrection, and the life. He that believes in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. Yochanan, John, 11:25 Sefer. Martha said unto him, I know that he shall rise again in the resurrection at the last day. Yochanan, John, 11:24 Sefer. And shall come forth, they that have done good, unto the resurrection of life, and they that have done evil, unto the resurrection of damnation. Yochanan, John, 5:29 Sefer. Of the doctrine of baptisms, and of laying on of hands, and of resurrection of the dead, and of eternal judgment. Ivrim, Hebrews, 6-2 Sefer. Women received their dead raised to life again, and others were tortured, not accepting deliverance, that they might obtain a better resurrection. Ivrim, Hebrews, 11:35 Sefer. If by any means I might attain unto the resurrection of the dead. Philippians, 3:11 Sefer. But the rest of the dead lived not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. Blessed and holy is he that has part in the first resurrection. On such the second death has no power, but they shall be priests of Elohim and of Mashiach, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. Chai Zion, Revelation, 20-5-6 Sefer. Now that was every verse I could find. And not one mentions celebrating Yahushua HaMashiach death or resurrection. However, followers of Yahushua did preach and prophesied about Yahushua. Listeners, there is a memorial recognized in scriptures for us to celebrate for generations, the Passover. The Passover is not Easter, the two are different. Easter celebrates death and resurrection, and Passover celebrates the Exodus. Choose wisely which celebration is ordained by Yahuwah our Elohim teachings. Shalom.